Hello, Joy Olson here of Blockbuster Fundraising. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a great title from Network for Good on a report that they had, and it was called Year-End Appeals for Procrastinators. And I thought that was really pretty perfect, because if you still haven't really officially completed your year-end appeal, you've definitely been procrastinating. So let's talk a little bit about what Network for Good says, that to raise more money online at year end, you need a great appeal that grabs donors' attention, drives urgency, and inspires them to give. Well, that's one thing you need. And how do you create a fundraising letter that stands out and gets results? Well, they say they've got us covered, and they give us a guide, a short guide that's going to give practical tips for these things, and I'm going to give you the link to this wonderful guide. By the way, I love Network for Good, and if you're a smaller nonprofit and don't know about Network for Good, you should get acquainted. It's a wonderful, fabulous resource. Okay, here is the short guide. It gives you tips on how to focus on the key things that donors want to know. It's going to tell you how to tell a compelling and effective story. And important, crafting an irresistible call to action. Plus, simple tactics for improving donor conversion and increasing your average gift size. That's perfect. Moves management. Upgrade those donors. So let's get started, because this is going to help you create, you procrastinator, help you create your best fundraising appeal ever. Okay, so they say, and you'll hear this often, step back to understand your audience. It's so darn important. And if you step back and review and understand your audience and look at what you did last year, the timing of your emails, when your last year appeal results went out, when it went out, and the results, you're going to get a better sense of your audience. So, and most of you know your donors, and by now you have definitely segmented. And obviously there's some lapsed donors there that you are going to really attempt to reactivate by year end. And I think that mainly what you should probably focus on is turning annual donors into monthly donors. You're not on an acquisition for new donors right now. So if you can just get back your lapsed donors, because those are donors that really like you, they've been there before, and then turn annual donors into monthly donors, those are some good goals. So have some target goals in mind, and do your research on what makes your particular audience unique, because that way you can tailor your appeal to make it more effective. You don't have to have 25 different appeals, but you should have 2 or 3. You know, your donors that have been there a long time, your donors that are monthly donors, your donors that haven't been there a long time but are major gifts, and then your major gift people that are just tried and true. You really want to segment your donor your donor base, because it's going to help with so much, even like with your thank yous. Because a lot of us, when we send our thank yous out, and of course they're such an important part of all this, it's so much nicer to thank specifically instead of just thanking them for everything. Oh, we couldn't do everything we do here, all the millions of things we do without you. If you tailor it to your, say for example that they really, your shelter, and they really like dogs. We couldn't have done this year for our senior pet Susie without your help, and with your continuing help we'll be able to really focus on helping more senior dogs. This is so much better than talking about all the animals at the shelter, all the adoptions, all the spay neuters. talk to a specific focus. Got it? Okay. So then, of course, now you've segmented your donor base, and you know all the reasons that is important, not only for your appeal, to try to focus on what they really care about, but also when you're writing your appeal, you're writing your thank you note too. So it's going to help you two different ways. And now, timing. When are you going to send out your appeals and how often? And right now, shoot, it's Thanksgiving week. So you are really probably down to, are you going to send out a holiday card? Are you going to send out a year-end appeal? And how many email, what does your email situation look like in the month of December? So you got to get busy. And also, as we mentioned, we touched on a little bit along with the database, go back and look at what you did last year, maybe, the last 3 years, especially emails. I mean, what was the open rate? What was the click-through rate? How many completed donations? And what were the total donations? Just look at what you've done, and then that helps you for your goal for this year, because you should definitely want to improve 10-15% here. I'll bet you we could get 20% more of our good donors to become monthly donors. Set some goals for yourself so you're very specific with your efforts. All right, here are what Network for Good reminds us that are the components of an effective fundraising appeal. And it's a clear call to action, a sense of urgency, and statements about what a donation will do. And that is going to really make your appeal letter stand out. And you want it to be attention-grabbing, emotionally compelling, and an authentic story. And I think that's the most important part of it. And they ask the question, Network for Good, why are stories so important? Well, and the answer, stories are a natural form of communication, and they have been for thousands of years. And stories allow us to feel. They create an emotional and lots of times even a physical reaction. We want to do something. We immediately want to act. And stories are proven to be easier to remember. They're actually 22 times more memorable than straight facts. That's really not surprising. Somebody tells you facts and figures and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other ear. But a picture, oh boy, a picture can stick with you forever if it is moving enough. And stories are more likely to be shared, which is really important for really spreading your message beyond core supporters. Stories are shared. And if your story is good and it is the heart and soul of your organization, it really shows your personality, and it's that really connects with your donors and inspires them to give. And if you don't connect and you don't inspire, your appeal is definitely not going to be as successful. That is for darn sure. Onward, the key characteristics of your online ask. So once you have a good story on which to base your fundraising ask, it's time to think about how to frame that story in a way that helps donors take action once they're inspired to give. So beyond the mechanics of your appeal, it's important to include these characteristics in every ask. Clarity. Keep your email appeals as simple as possible, both in format as well as in language. Offer clear statements about what a gift can do, as well as what action you want your donor to take. Donate. Remove anything that causes confusion or weighs down your message. Next, specificity. Be specific. When your appeals are specific, they are more relevant, they're more interesting, and they're authentic. You want to tell your donors exactly what they're going to be supporting, why it matters, how much they should give, and how they can complete their donation online right now. Next, a sense of urgency. It's crucial to create a sense of urgency and immediacy in your appeal. Why should donors give right now? What's going to happen if they act immediately? What might happen if they do not? You can create a sense of urgency for donors with a deadline or by introducing a matching gift. That's perfect. And I strongly suggest a matching gift and always a deadline. Next, a trustworthy messenger. Consider who's going to be telling your story or is signing your appeal, or who the email is going to be coming from. The messenger is often as important as the message. Who are the messengers that wield more influence than you when it comes to your organization? Maybe it's your executive director, maybe it's your board, maybe you've got a celebrity that loves you and is involved with your organization. But this is important. Pick somebody that has a nice sphere of influence. Well, how to stand out in your donor's inbox. Make it visually appealing. If your emails look like every other message in your supporters' inbox, you're going to make it easy to get trashed. They're going to ignore you. So spend as much time designing your emails for your donors' inboxes as you spend writing the contents of your email. Truthfully, because if you spend all your time and they never open it and they just trash it, what good does it do? So how do you do that? Create subject lines that make them want to open and read your message. And think about what shows up in the preview pane and from whom your email is sent. No one wants to get an email from donorreply@thisnonprofit.org. Boring. Who cares? Forget that. Good, I don't have to read this. Trash. Don't do that. Giving. Remember that giving is personal. Personal. And charitable giving among donors who regularly or sometimes give to new causes or charities is highly motivated by affiliation and existing donor knowledge of an organization. And it's somewhat unresponsive to solicitation. So on your emails, you've got your email list. So absolutely work with your donor list, your donor base. Perhaps Giving Tuesday, you've gotten a bunch of new donors. That's perfect. Hopefully you've got your new welcome series already in action. But add them to your e-blast, your year-end e-blast, because they are new donors. But this certainly isn't the time year-end to try to go out and get new donors. So don't try to blast your message to the general public. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be successful. Use your database really to tailor your outreach for your different segments, because you've got those segments all ready to go, and just really show the impact of a potential gift. Show this impact in that email. Because when making a charitable donation to a nonprofit, your donors are interested in information way beyond numbers and your financial stability and yakety yak. As many, and Network for Good says this, as many as 75% of donors use information about the nonprofit's impact, and 63% use information about the social issue that your nonprofit addresses. That's what they're interested in. So what can you do about this? In your fundraising appeals, make a clear tie between your donor's gift and what that donation will accomplish. Make it easy for donors to find information about the results of your work on your website with reports about what you're doing. And once they found that information, that'll be good, but that's not what you're trying to put out right now. You are trying to put out emotional, connecting messages, because they'll go to these other sources to gather information later, or possibly they've already gone there. I read one report, and I think it was in one of our presentations, that a lot of donors research their charities of choice as early as August. You know, they're looking at maybe Charity Navigator or GuideStar or Great Nonprofits badges on your appeals or donation pages. But right now, year end, you're connecting with supporters that are already there for you. And just make it an emotional connection, how much impact they've made and how much impact they'll make with supporting this email or letter. And you want to encourage them to spread your message by providing them with easy ways to share. That's, please share this message. If you're an animal shelter, I would used to say, please share this message or this video with your pet loving peeps. So if you provide that feeling of connection to your charity, your appeals are going to really be effective. And to be super effective, you want to answer the question, why me? Your need alone is not enough. They've got plenty of things to worry about. You have to compete with many messages and many appeals. So you must think about why your cause is personally meaningful to your donors. What is it about you? Why are they your donors anyway? And that's what you really want to relate to. So you've got to understand why your donors give. You've got to invite them to tell you their stories to gain insight on what motivates people to support your programs to begin with. So always be looking to, especially like in your new welcome series or during the year, do little online surveys. I saw a wonderful webinar the other day, and I'll tell you a great, and I'll do more on this next week, but a great way to incorporate a little survey is in your thank you. Just a short survey, easy to information to collect. They don't have to tell you their life story, but this really helps you with further segmenting and targeting donors appropriately, because this is really technology has really taken us to the point with your database. You're going to absolutely have to do this. You're going to have to tailor your messages to speak to each type of supporter you've got, because other charities are doing it. And if you don't, and it seems impersonal and across the board messaging, I think it's going to be very hard for you to build connections, to make those relationships go further. All right, well, you definitely want to personalize your emails with your reader's name in the subject line. That's perfect. Or definitely in the greeting line. And we already talked about aligning with their experiences. And you want to also treat your recurring donors, your monthly donors, I think differently from those that haven't given. And I suggest that too, when you segment them out and you've got different email messages or maybe a different annual appeal for monthly givers or people that give to you 2 and 3 and 4 times a year. Refer to that in your thank you note too, not to just that gift. Just how lovely it is that you supported us and you supported our sweet Susie and our senior dogs, and just thank you for your continual support. Your 4 gifts and during the year of 2017 have just meant so much to us. All right, That's why you can see that segmentation business is so important. Okay, make it mobile friendly. Over half of all emails open now happen on mobile devices, so it's critical for your emails to be easily opened, read, and actionable from your smartphone and tablets. So simplify simplify your outreach, increase your font size, and make your buttons and calls to action easy to click with a fingertip or a thumb. Put them high, above the fold, on the top, so they don't have to keep scrolling way down to find the donate now. Put it close. I think your donate button should be close to your image, that appealing, wonderful image, or near a video if you do a video. So applying mobile-friendly design principles to your emails, you're gonna get much more success. And be sure that your online donation page, my friends, make sure that that's mobile friendly, so that when the donors read the email on their mobile device, they can instantly and easily make a gift. As you can see in the home office here, I have my 4 senior dogs that would really like for me to cut this short and get them to the park. Okay, last but not least, a Network for Good, in this link I'm going to give you, gave us a simple template for our year-end fundraising appeal. And I think that you'll find it really interesting, and you can really, with their help, jot down the key parts of your appeal letter. And as you already know, that appeal should come from a real person. And there's just so much more. You know that the subject line is the most important part of your email appeal. Its purpose is to really make your message stand out. So go to Network, take this link and just look it over. It's just so filled with helpful advice. And I know that I think you'll be inspired. And that's what it's all about here at Blockbuster Fundraising. We really try to inspire you with possibly an idea that you already knew, a best practice, and maybe you'd forgotten it, you hadn't thought about it, something new that you think, oh gee, that's good, I can try that. Hopefully it will be inspirational to you right now, because we know you've got so much work ahead of you between now and December 31st. All right, this is Joy Olson saying thank you for having been here today. I'm Joy Olson of joyolsongroup.com, blockbusterfundraising.com, and we've got hundreds of free video fundraising tips on our YouTube channel. So here's to your great fundraising success, and if you are a procrastinator and you find yourself this week with Thanksgiving come and gone, hopefully this will be of great help, and you won't feel like the Lone Ranger. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for having been here. Oh, see you next Tuesday. Remember our Tuesday lives, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye.